absolutely pissed off to the max.
I'd be mad too. I mean, like Brandon said, like if it's a personal thing, then like that's different. But like A, you still have to let your team know, and B, like the video that came out is not like doesn't look good. like that's putting it very kindly, very generously. That doesn't look good. Yeah, yeah. So all right. Well, we're live. So the people who are watching this, which is nobody so far, just got a little taste of Kyrie Irving. But I'll bring us in. So if you guys are ready, we'll go.
Let's do it.
All right, sounds good. 3, 2. All right, Dave, I got a question for you. You ready?
Let's hear it.
All right. If you could live in the fictional universe of any TV show, which one would you pick?
Wow, that is a good question.
Open-ended.
Oh man, I don't know, honestly. Maybe The Good Place.
Like The Good Place, right? Like not The Bad Place.
Yeah, they're real good because think about it. You think of something and it's yours.
That's true. That's true.
All of a sudden, you have an ice cream.
I would almost say Seinfeld, just because nothing of consequence happens. Like life just goes on unless you're like one of those 4 people. But like it's just like literally just a show about nothing. I would also consider The Office. That seems like a fun, mundane lifestyle. Also some show where like everybody has superpowers. Maybe, well, not, I guess not The Boys. That's not really a great example.
I'd be terrified to live in that universe.
No, I wouldn't want to live in that universe. But while I consider my actual answer, let's welcome in our guest here, a frequent guest of the program, maybe our most frequent guest of the program, up there with Emily to see. I'd have to look through the archives and count how many times they've been on the show, but it's our Morocco Maxwell and Albiani compatriot, Brandon Maxwell. Brandon, welcome back.
What up? What up? Thanks for having me.
Of course, if so, the question is posed to you, Brandon. What fictional universe of TV would you live in?
I don't even know. Like, that's such a hard question, but I mean, on the spot, like the Fresh Prince universe would be pretty fun to live in.
That's a good answer.
I mean, it's also like one of my favorite shows, so I'm kind of going off of that. But yeah,
that's what I'm going off of in my head too. Yeah, I would actually maybe I'd say Psych, Dave. That'd be a good one.
Psych would be a good one. Yeah,
live in Santa Barbara, just chill out, hang out with all your friends and family, and just solve cases and do kooky hijinks. That'd be fun.
I mean, maybe you guys got a top 5 for next episode.
I know. Now I'll have to think. I really have to think about it. You know what?
It would take me so long for that.
Yeah, it would take me a while. Parks and Rec feels like a good one too. That'd be like a fun. There could also be a good top 5. Which ones I wouldn't want to live in? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say Parks and Rec.
The Boys would be up there. I wouldn't want to live I wouldn't want to live in the Boys universe. That sounds like hell.
I feel like we're kind of there a little bit.
That's true. I mean, it's like I feel like we're living like you flip on The Walking Dead and it's like that's not so scary. Like look at my life, bro. Look at this. This is real life. There couldn't possibly be a fictional setting worse.
Just be like, yeah, The Walking Dead's scary, but have you lived in 2020?
Yeah, just make a show called 2020.
Is Walking Dead still on?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think they ended, but now they're doing like bonus episodes, and there's like 5,000 spin-offs of it. And I'm like, it's really, the irony is incredible that it's called The Walking Dead, and like, the coincidence, I guess, is just incredible that it's called The Walking Dead, and like it will not die. It's just incredible. But yeah, it's I never really got into it. But that's a good segue. We're not talking about The Walking Dead anymore, thank God. But we're combining our movies and TV previews into one episode, mainly because there aren't a lot of TV shows, but we also want to set it up so our MCU Ultimate Rankings 2-parter lines up as 199 and 200. So we're combining these into one. Also, not a lot of TV shows to talk about, but we'll get to those at the end of the podcast. So we're just going to run down kind of the year in movies. I think we've gotten it down to a science at this point. The first time we did it, it took us like 4 hours because I printed out like 9 pages of movies to look over. And this time, last year we kind of ranked them. And then this time we were like, let's not put our eggs in one basket because God knows it's actually coming out this year. So we're just going to go down a list of movies. Dave, I'll let you start us off because I've never heard of this movie. This is The Little Things. Apparently, it's coming out on HBO Max on January 29th. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, this is they're starting to release trailers and stuff, but it's Denzel Washington as a detective and Rami Malek as his other detective, and Jared Leto is the bad guy. He's supposedly like a serial killer.
Is he the Joker? Does he play the Joker?
He honestly plays a similar part to a really creepy guy, and it's just the whole premise is like you have to see the little things to be able to figure out what happened. It looks pretty good, and best of all, if you have HBO Max, it's free. So and you have to leave your house. So I think that's the big selling point too.
Anything on this one, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, the way that Dave described it, I'm gonna need you guys to fill in the context for a lot of these because a lot of these I've never heard of, and just hearing that description right there, I'm in. I mean, Denzel and Rami Malek, those are. I mean, it's not like I'd say either of them are my favorite actor, but they're two of my favorite actors. And they're never really in anything bad. Jared Leto, I mean, he's hit or miss, but I think it's something like this he could be really good. So I'm interested.
Have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, but I mean, I've heard about the editing and like some things about it.
I'm just saying, you said it's ironic that Rami Malek won Best Actor, but that movie I did not like very much at all. But he was good. I'll give him credit. It was good. Yeah, if I get the chance to watch this, I'll check it out because I think Rami Malek and Denzel, two Oscar-winning actors, very, very hard to put the two of them in a movie and it be bad. So, yeah, interesting enough to warrant a check it out. Next up is Malcolm and Marie. This comes out on Netflix on February 5th. And for me, this is all about the two leads, John David Washington and Zendaya. Those are the leads in this movie. Right there, I'm hooked. Like the last movie, like the two leads, like that's what has me invested. The story's kind of open-ended and it's shot in black and white. So I just think with those two leads, I don't think this can be a bad movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely in because of the two actors, like you said. The fact that it's black and white, though, I mean, I don't have a problem with black and white movies, but I can definitely see it being something that kind of takes you out of it. Because, I mean, seeing the color in movies and whatnot and what the director does with it, I feel like is definitely an interesting element. So we'll see how they do it here. But I'm really interested. I like both actors a lot.
Yeah, there's two really good leads, so I think that's the real start of something really good. Obviously, it's on Netflix. You don't have to go anywhere again. You'll sense a theme here as I keep going through these. But similar to Denzel, John David Washington, I love both of them. I think they're both awesome actors, and I'd like to see them in more movies. But just because those guys are in these movies that we've talked about, I'll watch them.
For sure. All right, Dave, here's your time to shine. February 26th, HBO Max, and I can't imagine someone going to theaters to see it, but Tom and Jerry.
I mean, I think we're looking at the Oscar nomination for Best Picture here. I think this will win Best Picture, in case anyone's watching at home. You want to bet? Just throw your $100 on this. It's probably about like 10 million to 1 odds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that might be gracious. I saw the trailer for this unwillingly. Let me add, it was on the TV and I couldn't get to the remote fast enough. This looks like Cats level bad. Like,
whoa, hold on.
It looks Cats level bad. Like, I'm not talking I'm not talking the CGI or the animation or anything. Tom and Jerry look fine. I'm talking about like, it looks like quality level Cats. Like, that's how bad this movie looks.
So yeah, I don't think that's gonna be that bad. Like, I don't think it's gonna be good at all. I think it's gonna be a bad movie. But like, Cats was so bad, and just everything about it was terrible. Except like they picked they picked a lot of big names. That's the only good thing they did about that whole movie.
Hold on, wait. I'm like looking at this now. Is this live action and animated?
Yep.
Yes.
It's like Space Jam, pretty much.
Yo, I mean, this is gonna be really bad. It looks like.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be bad. Like, look up.
I mean, I've obviously heard about it, but yeah, this is looking pretty bad.
Look at one still image from this movie. Like, they dropped. Like, movies do like the, first few images from this movie released and people are like, oh, whatever. Except for like that one time Aladdin put the picture of the genie out there and people were like, wow, it looks terrible. And then they fixed it and it actually worked out pretty well. They put out the pictures for this movie and I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be terrible. Like, this is going to be the, like, just give it the Razzie. Like, just give it the Razzie on February 26th. I can guarantee you it's going to be one of the worst things you see all year. Dave said he'll watch it. My thing is, like, what's the market for a Tom and Jerry movie? It's 2021. Like, who's clamoring for this?
I think it's just to get the next generation of kids interested in Tom. They're like, yo, we need a refresh. They haven't heard about it in a minute. They don't have Boomerang. They don't watch Cartoon Network at like 4 a.m. So then they just put it in this. Is this in theaters?
That's what I have here. That some theaters are actually going to play this movie. Yes.
But it's not a digital release at all.
Oh, it is. HBO Max will have it too.
All right, I was gonna say, if they're expecting people to go to the movies, especially at a time right now, to see this movie,
this movie would bomb in normal times, let alone these days.
They're doing well with the streaming. It'll be easy to watch.
I mean, Wonder Woman 1984 sucked, but at least I didn't have to go to the theater to see it. So there's that. Dave, you put Nobody on here. I have no idea what this is.
Have you seen the previews, the trailer with God damn it. What's
Bob Odenkirk?
Bob Odenkirk, yes.
Oh, okay, this is the Bob Odenkirk movie. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's kind of weird to see him as in like an action role like this, but I'm still gonna watch it. Like, I think it looks like a decent time. Like, is it gonna win awards? Probably not. Is it gonna be a top-rated movie? Probably not. But it still looks like it will be entertaining.
Those are pretty much my thoughts. Like, I don't think it looks good at all. The story is probably not going to be anything that you remember, but if it's fun enough, like, I just want something like Taken. I mean, we need that back again. When Taken came out, Taken I would not say is a good movie by any stretch, but I love Taken. That's just one of the most just solid, consistent action movies. It's never too crazy, but it's always consistent. That's what we need. Come on, Bob Odenkirk.
Yep. Hold on. I'm glad you brought up Taken because I need to park on that curb for a second. Did you guys see the trailer for that Liam Neeson White Savior movie?
No.
Like, it's not called White Savior. They wouldn't be that on the nose, but he literally plays like a border agent.
I mean, if you've heard a couple of his interviews in the past few years,
he's bad, dude. He's bad.
Yeah. Kind of changed my thoughts on the things a little bit.
It's like he did Taken, and he's like, I think this is a niche for me. I'm gonna start doing movies where I'm like this really questionable character.
Yo, that movie, what is it, like The Wolf or the Gray? Yo,
yeah,
that was really underrated. Like he was on that wave for a little bit. He went overboard though.
He did. He did the movie where he was like a snowplow driver.
Oh my god, that movie is terrible. Yeah. I remember. So after he did Taken, he probably was just like, I have a very particular set of skills.
Yeah, he heard those words come out of his mouth, and he was like, "Oh, this is something. I could ride this wave."
That snowplow movie, I forget what it was called, but
Cold Pursuit was that movie.
Cold Pursuit, yeah. I saw that in theaters, and I literally could not believe how bad that was.
I still can't believe that there was a few movies you saw in theaters in 2019 that I still can't believe you did not see Aladdin or The Lion King or some of those movies, because my God, you went on a tear that year. Shout out Movie Pass.
I saw. I think it was like 50 movies that year. 55.
That's crazy. So next up we have Cherry. This is the Tom Holland Russo brothers vehicle. Theaters February 26th. Apple TV Plus March 12th. So Apple TV Plus March 12th. Well, a fitting way, I guess, to mark the 1 year anniversary of the pandemic is by sitting at home watching a movie and doing nothing. Really honoring the pandemic spirit. But Cherry, they really haven't released a lot of material. I think it had like a teaser that just dropped. They're really keeping it pretty mum overall. But I'm excited, especially if I get to watch it, for free at home. I'll definitely check this out. I like Tom Holland and I love the Russo brothers, so no brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the IMDb. It says he's an army medic suffering from PTSD, and he becomes a bank robber after getting addicted to drugs and falling into debt. I'm in. That sounds like a very interesting movie. Haven't really seen too many things with Tom Holland. I think I've only seen one of the Spider-Man movies. But the Russo brothers, I've seen plenty of their work, and I'm definitely interested. Don't have Apple TV though, so gonna have to get that rebound or that assist.
Or you get that free trial. Set up that free trial.
That too. I'm gonna have to.
I have Apple TV Plus for a year since I got my phone, so I think I have it through March. So I could hook you guys up.
There we go. Appreciate it.
Look at this guy. Look at Dave's a man of the people. Really. I'll take this one. I'll field this one, boys. To All the Boys, Always and Forever. This is the third installment in the To All the Boys I Loved Before series, which I'm sure you guys are very up and up on. The first one was good. Emily and I have watched them both. First one's good. Second one, not so much. Not so much like the Aliens Godfather 2 sequel level. Probably more like Bad News Bears 2 level sequel. That was the first movie that came to mind for whatever reason. But not great. It was fine. The third one, as we always know, the third movie in the series is always the best. Not high expectations on this one, but I'm interested to see what they come out with. We'll see if it even comes out in February. Hopefully it does. Moving on, Coming to America, March 5th on Prime Video. This was supposed to come out late last year, I believe. It got delayed, then it got purchased by Amazon, and now it's coming out on Amazon Prime. I'm a little ashamed to admit I've actually never seen Coming to America.
It's been a very long time. Like, I watched it when I was little. So, I mean, I don't even know if that counts as me watching it.
Probably a movie you shouldn't have watched when you were little.
You know when you catch the movies on TV, just watch it. No one's around.
I think the temperature on this movie is about where it should be. I don't think people are expecting a whole lot from it, but it exists.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and the fact that it's PG-13 is kind of...
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's putting kind of badly for it. And the fact that you make a sequel 25 years or something like that after the original, you either have to be making something that's really good or you're just really desperate. So we're gonna find out soon enough, I guess.
I know Eddie Murphy's been on a pretty good streak here. He did, Dolomite. He did SNL and he was good. So I don't know. I mean, his reputation's kind of back on the up and up. So I hope this doesn't tank it. Let's put it that way. Dave?
I haven't seen the first one, but to me, PG-13 doesn't really give me a lot of hope for this because I just think that this type of movie really should be R for it to reach its potential. Sort of like if you had a PG-13 Deadpool, it'd be really weird.
That's kind of how I felt when Venom came out as PG-13. I was like, man, I really would have preferred to see this as rated R. Like, the Spirit. I mean, we'll get to Venom in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how I feel. But Dave, I have not seen The Sopranos, so I'm going to punt this one to you. The Many Saints of Newark dropping on HBO Max March 12th.
Yeah, this is one I think a lot of people are going to be really interested to see how they do it. It's going to be on young Tony Soprano and his development into who he became. And I think this movie's going to really kill it. It's disappointing it won't be in theaters because I think this is one that probably would have really done well just because I think people are longing for Sopranos content. I think it has a really strong fan base. And I think it has an even bigger fan base since James Gandolfini died. I just think overall, you'd see a lot of people really flock to the movies. Now, after the first weekend, I don't know how strong the numbers would be because I don't think it's a movie, even if you love it, that you'd see it twice. So it'd be really tough to kind of inflate the number and reach the potential of what they're going to probably spend. But I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Sopranos either, so I can't really speak on that. I do know, I mean, how praised it is, and it's definitely something that, eventually I plan to see. But the spin-offs with these shows, I think it's a cool idea because you get to have kind of like a side story, but I think it's also a slippery slope too, because I mean, it's nice to see things like these, but I feel like in a lot of cases they kind of just not necessarily hurt the original because if the show is good enough, it's going to stand on its own, but it kind of just feels unnecessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, like you, I've not seen The Sopranos. I know that's like sacrilege to a lot of people, but I'll check it out at some point. I really have to settle in to like binge watch a drama. So like when I did the X-Files years ago, like that took me a while, even though I loved the show. Like it's a very, very hard to watch an hour-long drama that's 9 seasons long for, ever. But yeah, if it's good, I mean, I'll check it out at some point. But I'm assuming all these Sopranos fans are excited for it to drop. Also, March 12th, only in theaters, is The King's Man. I have not seen either of these movies, but I have seen the Freebird scene, which is awesome. You guys have anything to offer on this one?
This is going to be different from the other two movies. It's going to be like a prequel to everything of how the Kingsman started. The trailer looked really awesome. It looked like a really fun action movie. I don't think it's going to be as light and as funny as the other two Kingsman movies, but I think it'll be more heavy on action.
I mean, I have no idea about it. I've heard that it's like a cool movie. I've heard people really love it. It's like a superhero movie, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I've never seen any of them. I've heard they're good though.
Same here.
First one.
Oh, sorry, Dave. What were you saying?
No, the first one was very good.
Heard the second one was all right.
Yeah, it was just okay.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, March 19th. I believe this is this the Nicolas Cage one, Dave?
Yep, it is.
Okay, that's what I thought. And what is it exactly? Is it like what is this movie?
So, I believe what happens is it has Pedro Pascal in it as well, and Tiffany Haddish. It's the description is an obsessive fan forces actor Nicolas Cage to recreate his most famous characters and scenes during a birthday party to escape. It sounds like the dumbest shit ever, but I bet it's gonna be the most funny, stupid movie of all time.
Wow, hold on, wait. I just want to hit the sounder real quick. In a podcast episode where Dave swore before I did, I just want to throw that out there.
It's like the dumbest shit of all time.
Yeah,
but I need to see it. I need it.
Yeah, I'm all in on this. This is right up my alley. I love like kind of stupid movies where they just find something that is kind of a joke about the actor or something and they really go in on it. Like I think The Interview did a bunch of stuff like that. I don't even think that was a great. That's what it was called, right? The one that had all the issues with North Korea.
Yeah, The Interview.
Yeah.
Like that one, I think had kind of some ideas like that. And also, no, I'm thinking of also This Is the End, where it's like the actors kind of playing themselves.
I saw the last half of that movie for the first time the other night.
It's a really good movie.
It's not bad.
I love
that movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I love movies like that where they kind of just they're in on the joke and they're kind of playing themselves a little bit. And Nicolas Cage, I mean, I feel like he's done this sort of thing, like stepped into this kind of zone a few times already, and most of the time he's really good at it. So I'm really interested in this, whether it's good or bad.
For sure. I'm interested too. I'll give it a thumbs up. This is supposed to come out April 2nd, but there's word out today that it might get delayed until October. No Time to Die, the new James Bond installment. Dad, if you're listening, plug your ears. I have no interest in this movie at all. That's all I got to say about that.
This movie did just get delayed. I know that. They also MGM has been trying to sell it. They offered it to Netflix and HBO Max and everyone for $600 million, and of course they were turned down because that's an absurd amount of money for a streaming service. But I think if they offered it for like $250, I don't know what it cost. I'm sure it's in the high hundreds, but if you offered for $250, I think someone would buy it. It's just, I think it's one of these movies where MGM, first of all, I don't think has a lot of money. Once they put out a few movies that cost a lot, like I don't think they're like Paramount or Universal where they can just keep making them. So I'm pretty interested to see how this goes.
I mean, I've only seen like I think 2 of the Daniel Craig Bond movies. So who knows? I might end up catching it. If it's in theaters though, they're not gonna have it on streaming services. Is that what you said?
They pushed it back to October, so I think they're hoping that life is better by then.
All right, because these movies that are coming out where they're not putting them on streaming services at all, it's like I don't know what they're expecting. Because honestly, like I do think theaters are gonna bounce back to a certain extent, but I think this is kind of the wave now. Like people are, if you gave them the taste of it, they're gonna want more. And if people are buying the movie still, I mean, why? What's the problem in terms of giving them it in that way? $20, you pay for it. I mean, they're getting more than you would at a ticket, at least somewhere like here.
I'll tell you what though, I do miss movie theater popcorn. I miss it so much. Oh my god, I miss it so much. I really, Dave. Everybody who knows me, I'll tell you, I miss it very, very much. But worthwhile sacrifice. April 9th is the Bob's Burgers the movie, which I did not know was a thing. I actually kind of knew it was a thing, then I forgot. Then I saw it listed on a website. I think it was Vulture, Variety, or something, and. So this is coming out. I don't know the plot. I don't care. If it's available for free somewhere, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to pay money to see it.
Definitely looking forward to this. I've seen plenty of Bob's Burgers. I don't think I've ever watched it linearly. Is that the word? I've seen so many episodes of it. Such a good show. So hilarious. I love the brand of humor, and to see them do it in a movie where they kind of have one story going for a bit longer, I'm really interested in that. So I didn't know the movie was coming out. Definitely happy to see this though.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any of Bob's Burgers really, but I mean, I would watch it if it was on a streaming service. I certainly wouldn't go see it in a theater, especially now. But if it's on streaming services, I mean, I would give it a shot.
Emily just dropped her book on the ground, proudly showing off that she finished her book, and then absolutely it's just Butterfingers moment. But you know what? We're live anyway, so who cares?
It sounded like a heavy book.
It was a heavy book. That's like how many pages?
359.
359 pages.
Damn.
I cap out at 50 with pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, next up, I'll take. Yeah, it's coming to Netflix apparently. The Other Misses. I don't know if I'll watch that. Who knows? I'll take this one. Mortal Kombat coming out April 16th. God, I hope so. On HBO Max and in theaters. I'm very excited for this movie only because, like, I'm assuming I know Dave has not seen them. I'm assuming you haven't either, Brandon. But the original 2 Mortal Kombat movies, the first one I really like. I think it might be the best video game movie ever made. That doesn't say a lot because they're all really, really bad. But it's a decent enough movie to watch. The second one is like one of the biggest dumpster fires I've ever seen in my life. I love Mortal Kombat, and I still really can't finish the movie every time I try to watch it. It was the first thing I wrote about for the CSL podcast website, and I actually let my rental lapse because I forgot to finish it. It's that bad. But this movie looks promising from what I've seen. Actually, I don't think there have been any trailers or anything, but the cast looks pretty impressive. I've looked into a few of the people who are cast in it, and I'm hoping with enhanced graphics and hopefully an R rating or some sort of unrated feature, they actually make it a Mortal Kombat movie. But that's all I gotta say about that. Moving on.
Did you see that James Harden clip?
No, I didn't.
He's looking rather not as athletic as I've seen him looking in the past.
Did this have? Where's the clip?
Oh, I put it up against my camera
on the screen.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking. I'm on the list right now. Let me see. Let me see this again. Oh.
He's looking different. I can't put my finger on what's different about him.
He might have some extra layers on, but those
yeah, how many layers? 100?
Hey, you know what, Dave? We don't need to shame James Harden, all right?
Hey, he still scores 30 a game, and that's more than I usually score in a season. So
he also makes more in a game than I'll make more in my life.
No, I'm scoring points.
No, I know. No, also he makes more money in one game than I do in my life.
He makes more money in an off game and an off day than I do in my life.
Makes more money in like one free throw. Anyway, moving on. A Quiet Place Part 2, April 23rd. Again, if this is in theaters, probably not going to go see it. I liked A Quiet Place. I think it's actually a really good movie. I wasn't really clamoring for a sequel, and I would have seen it if it was like a normal year, but I'll probably just wait till it's on demand or on a streaming service, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never seen the first one, so I can't really speak on it. Probably won't see this one either.
I'm a huge fan of this, and I mean, I'm not going to go into the theaters to see anything, but if I did, this would be one of my choices. I think this is going to be a good movie, and I'm really curious to see how they do it, just because of how the last one ended. I won't spoil it, but I'm very interested. And the funny thing is, I believe some of the reporters got a free look at this last year before it was going to come out, and they're still under the contract where they can't talk about it until it's released.
Wow.
So they've been holding on to this info for a year.
They're not even
yeah. Well, I'll spoil it, Dave. Haley Joel Osment, he can see dead people. That's the twist. That's the twist. Incredible.
What's the other movie that people always compare this one to with Joel Edgerton? That I have seen that one.
Joel Edgerton.
You know, with the dog.
Pet Cemetery?
Nah. Like the movie cover is with the. It's like It Comes at Night. Is that it? It Comes at Night.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that sounds right.
They were very similar. I like that movie, so I mean, maybe I would have taken this.
Yeah, the first Quiet Place is good. It's definitely an awkward movie to watch in theaters. Don't bring any loud fruit if you want to go see it in theaters. So I remember. Oh, sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, don't eat anything crunchy.
No, except popcorn, which is great. I can't remember. I think it might have been you, Brandon, but somebody last year was high on Last Night in Soho. Which one of it was you?
I mean, it was probably me. I'm looking at it and see Edgar Wright, the director. So I love Edgar Wright. So probably me.
Yeah, I'm kind of, because from what I've gathered, it's like some sort of pseudo horror movie or something.
Yeah, from looking at the IMDb, it says a young girl passionate about fashion design is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters her idol, a dazzling wannabe singer. But 1960s London is not what it seems, and time seems to fall apart with shady consequences. So
yeah,
it kind of like, sounds like a horror movie. I'm definitely interested because Edgar Wright, when he dives into this sort of horror aspect of things, and I don't know if it's going to be a comedy, but it sounds like it's going to be more focused on the horror side, which I'm definitely interested to see from him because even when he does something like Shaun of the Dead, obviously it's a comedy first. So it's going to be cool to see. I mean, if this is the case, it's going to be cool to see him switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I've always liked Edgar Wright. I mean, Hot Fuzz is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I've never seen Baby Driver, but I've heard really, really good things about it. And like the worst thing I've heard about Edgar Wright is that At World's End is not great, or The World's End, whatever it is.
It's decent.
Yeah, I've heard it's fine. Definitely not the strongest of that trilogy, the Cornetto trilogy. But yeah, I mean, if this is on streaming somewhere or something like that, then I'll definitely check it out. But I want to watch it at some point for sure. Black Widow, May 7th. Finally, a Marvel movie that we got to in this list, Dave. Now, I know you said this to me the other day, Dave. They're discussing potentially doing like a premium access thing with Black Widow, right?
Yeah, I think that's eventually the route they're going to take just because I don't think they can hold on to it much longer. They've already marketed so much and spent so much money on the marketing and everything. I think it's a smart way to do that too, because I think people will pay the $25 or $30 that they want for it. And especially because you could get, hopefully by the time this comes out, maybe it's in, May or June or whatever, whenever they put it on Disney Plus for the $25 or $30. By then, I'm assuming most of us will have the vaccine, and it maybe will be more probable that you can go within smaller groups, but maybe not in public. And at that point, I think you could split the cost between 3 or 4 people, and $7 to $10 for a Marvel movie at home, it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I'm excited for it. I think you're right. They can't hold on to it much longer. And I think they do end up going that kind of hybrid route. And I'm excited. I mean, we've seen, by the time this comes out, we'll have seen the whole of WandaVision, and I think most of, if not all of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we'll have some new Marvel content by then. But a new Marvel movie will be great.
Has it been done and they just didn't want to put it out right now? Or?
Oh, yeah. It's been done for a while.
See, like sitting on it, I feel like they're kind of killing the hype for it. I mean, I obviously don't know too much about Marvel, but you guys know me.
I would agree with you normally. The only thing is that there was almost like a Marvel fatigue after the latest Spider-Man movie, where it's like, all right, maybe we don't need the next movie so quickly. They obviously didn't have any control over this, but it almost worked out to their benefit that there was this lull for Marvel, because then like they could do other stuff and they kind of build the hype a little bit back up. I wanted to see Black Widow sooner than this, that's for sure. But it almost worked to their benefit a little bit that it worked out the way it did. Not much else did, but delaying it so much, it kind of built the hype back up a little bit. I know it seems counterintuitive, but that's just kind of how I read it. I don't know about you, Dave.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on that. I think there's a definite clamoring for this because I think people are excited for the type of movie this could be, where it could be sort of like a John Wick light, and there's like a lot of high intense action scenes with it, and there's a lot of new characters. I was curious because I believe some of these characters from this movie are going to be tied into some of the shows because they planned on this movie being out already and people having seen it. So I don't know how they're going to figure out how to make that work, but I think it's only a matter of time until they put it on Disney Plus, even if they have to charge money for it for the first couple of months, because, like we said, it's just they're backing up their pipeline, and at a certain point, they just have to cut bait with whatever they're going to make from it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty astute. May 21st, you got Free Guy. This is the Ryan Reynolds video game movie. It's him, Jodie Comer. Help me out here. Joe Keery, I think, is in this too. Is Taika Waititi in this as well?
Yeah, I'm looking at the cast.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can watch it somewhere for free, I'll watch it.
I am very opposite of that. This looks terrible. Have you guys heard of that movie NPC that he was in?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm looking at this. This is the sequel, apparently. I haven't even watched that movie, but I remember when those trailers came out, I was like, that is like the quintessential type of movie that I would not ever watch. So I don't think anything's changing with this one. Definitely not seeing that.
Alex Trebek is building this.
He's in it?
Alex Trebek is building this as himself.
Wow. His last ever role.
And then Lil Ray Howerly, Camille Kostek, who is obviously Gronk's girlfriend, Joe Keery, Taika Waititi, Jodie Comer, Ryan Reynolds. So you named all of them basically. But I don't know. I think it'll be funny. Ryan Reynolds usually at least gives you a few laughs, even if the movie's not good. So I think it'll be worth it for a few laughs at least. I don't know how good it will be, but
yep, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Dave, of course, I couldn't go without including a horror movie on here. You made sure Spiral made the cut. Didn't even know it was coming out this year, to be honest. This is the Saw like spinoff or prequel or whatever. I'll just let you take this one. I'll give you the ball and let you Steph Curry it from half court.
This is the Saw remake sort of thing with Chris Rock. He pitched a new idea to, I believe I forget what company. Which company is doing this?
Blumhouse, like every other horror.
No, it's like I can't remember.
Is it Lionsgate?
Probably. I think that was the originals.
But it has Samuel L. in it. It has Chris Rock, obviously, and I believe he wrote the script as well. But it's basically like a Saw remake where it's sort of like part Saw, part detective thriller, and they try to solve crimes involving like the Saw killings. So I think it leans heavily towards the thriller mystery side rather than like the horror torture side. That just happens to be a side effect of it. But I think this movie is supposed to be part of another series. So I think they're trying to reboot the idea of Saw, not the actual Saw movie.
See, that's what kind of has me nervous because I'm totally interested in this movie because like Saw at the beginning, I think was pretty cool. I obviously love Chris Rock, and the fact that you were saying he came up with the script, that definitely puts me more in favor of it. But they also beat that series to death. Like I feel like there's literally nothing else they could do with it. So maybe if they're attacking it from the side of a prequel to a prequel, because I'm pretty sure they've done like 4 prequels at this point. Maybe it could be good in this aspect, but I'm interested because of Chris Rock. Also kind of nervous because Saw there've been like 8 of them now, and you're saying that they're gonna make a new series out of this. Like that's gonna be just insane. There's gonna be like what 10 Saw movies by the time this one's out, something like that, 8 or 9.
There was 7, and then there was the Jigsaw movie that was kind of like a standalone that came out.
All right, so this is 9 then.
Yeah, and then now this is like a new one, but I tend to think that this will be pretty good because I think the other movies, they kind of went too far and did too many. Like the first, I think 2, maybe 3 were okay. The first one was really good. It was a classic, but I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm obviously going to watch it, and I don't know at that point if we'll be able to see it in theaters yet. I probably won't be able to bring myself to the theaters yet at that point, but maybe a company will buy it and they'll sell it, or I don't know what the deal is, but I'm interested to see it because I'm curious what Chris Rock came up with.
They've also like retconned and like rewritten the story like 15 times. So maybe he just goes at it from a completely new perspective and they like do like Halloween and forget all the other sequels. But if he's gonna try and tie them in with the rest of them, I feel like it's gonna be really hard to do. But I'm still interested either way. I'm excited for it.
Next up, one that I am inexplicably very excited for, and that is Godzilla vs. Kong, which apparently is coming to HBO Max and theaters. I'll be watching it on HBO Max May 21st. I understand that kind of sucks because I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters in theaters, and I was like the only person excited for it because like I wanted to see it on the big screen. And this is definitely how this movie is meant to be watched, is on the big screen, but I'm not going to go to a theater to see Godzilla vs. Kong. So I'll watch it at home. And they've been building up to this movie for like 3 or 4 movies. The first Kong movie, Godzilla, the Godzilla sequel, like they've been kind of building up to it. And King of the Monsters was like not great. It was average at best. So I'm hoping this movie is at least good and meets sort of my expectations. I just want to see them fight. Like that's all I want to do is watch them fight for like 90 minutes. That's all I care about. Like even if the whole movie was just Godzilla rising out of the water and King Kong swooping down from the jungle and they just fought for 90 minutes with no dialogue, I'd be happy with that. That's like all I want to see at this point.
So this is the same series as the Bryan Cranston one?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I just want it to look cool if that's the case, but I haven't really been interested in that one either. So
like it's really the human parts of the movies that suck. Like they're so just bland and take away from everything. Like King of the Monsters, like all the Godzilla action stuff was incredible. It looked awesome. And then like Vera Farmiga or Millie Bobby Brown or the dude from Friday Night Lights opened his mouth and like it just ruined everything. Like sucked all the air out of it. Like great. Like now I gotta listen to dialogue to advance the plot or whatever.
that's the problem with these movies.
Yeah, like I don't care about the plot. I don't care. Just get them on the same island and make them fight for an hour and a half. That's all I care about. God, like I could make this movie. It's just so easy.
I tend to think that this is one of these movies where we'll really feel not being able to be in a theater.
Yeah,
because usually the sound and the lighting and the special effects like really come through on the big screen. So I think that's this, and especially a movie like this where you're really only going to see a specific thing. Like you're not in there to see the script or like to see like, you know, character development or anything. I think this is one where we're actually going to feel it. But even so, I'm still pretty excited to see it just because I like King Kong and I like Godzilla. So,
all right, Dave, I'm gonna give you guys the wheel on this one. Fast and Furious 9. I have not seen a single Fast and Furious movie.
Pun intended.
Yes, that pun was intended. Yes.
I think that this is going to be a good movie? Question mark. I don't know if what we're gonna see here. I know they've said they're gonna stop. I think after 12 or 13 with space, but I don't know. I think it will be interesting. I don't know, Maxwell, what you think about this.
I remember my cousin and I randomly watched like I think it might have been the 5th or the 6th one. Can't even remember, but nothing about it made sense. But I just like loved every minute of it. And cars were doing things that are not possible. I saw Vin Diesel drive a car through multiple buildings from the top floor. And I just want more of that. So I'm completely down for this. Probably won't see it until it's like randomly on TBS one night. But when that day comes 15 years from now, best believe I'll watch. Just remembering now too, Vin Diesel also punched the ground so hard that a cement like barrier fell on top of another car. So it's just they're superheroes without the tights, basically, and the cars are part of their superpowers.
That's true. I mean, you're not wrong.
They literally were doing drag racing for like the first 2 movies, and they're like, "Yo, let's just switch it up."
Yeah, I think they hit a niche kind of in like the 5th one. I think it was like one of the better ones. It was kind of like a combination of like car racing and like thriller, and like I think they get a little overzealous here at times, but I don't know. I mean, the one thing is like this movie, you know, it's not going to be like award winning, but it's going to have a lot of like cool scenes and like stunts. So it's like you go for like the high of like of living vicariously through this movie almost.
And it's funny because, like I said, I've only seen one of them, but I know so much behind the scenes things about this movie. Like so many scenes when The Rock and Vin Diesel are together, I'm pretty sure Vin Diesel is standing on like a crate because he's so much shorter than The Rock, but they don't want it to like show that way on the film. Just like funny things like that. It's just such a funny movie series, and it takes itself so seriously that they know that it's a joke at the end of the day. So that just kind of makes it a bit more a bit funnier. Like I said, I don't really seek any of them out, but I'll catch this one day, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
It's all about the family. It's all about the family, bro.
You need to say that at least 4 or 5 times. You need it at the very beginning, the very end. There's rules to this.
There are. Dave, I'll let you go off on this one. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. June 4th on HBO Max and in theaters. Dave, go ahead.
This movie, I think, is going to be very good. I think The Conjuring...
Please stop.
No, it is, because I think the difference between the Conjuring series, the universe, the only good movies they have are with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga in them. Because the Conjuring 1, the Conjuring 2 are good. Like Annabelle and all those movies, they were barely in them, if at all. The script is usually much better when they're in them, and it's usually much more about supernatural than it is about like creepy, stupid nuns and stuff like that. I think this movie is going to be, if I had to guess, this is going to be in the Rotten Tomatoes. It's going to be certified fresh. This is going to be in the 70s.
Oh, snap.
I think this is going to be a solid horror movie, and I think people are going to be really happy with how it turns out.
That's a bold claim. See, when I hear about this movie coming out and I hear it's like the 7th Conjuring movie, I think it's going to be super shitty, but I love shitty horror movies. So that's probably still going to be something that I will end up watching at some point too. And I'll probably seek this one out actually more so than Fast and Furious when I catch it at like 2 a.m. So
yes, third movies and horror franchises always do so well. So I'm sure this will end up at 70%. But then again, I also said The Curse of La Llorona would be coming at 50%, and it was like at 8. So maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about.
Then again, maybe they save their good scripts for Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, like they were saying.
That's true. It might be like, this script sucks. Let's just use it on Annabelle or something. We need the good stuff for Patrick and Vera. Like,
I know it's going to make its money back. Double.
Yeah. Any Blumhouse. I don't know if is this Blumhouse? I don't even know.
I don't believe so. No.
Yeah. So like Blumhouse, like they make their money back on it. We'll get to them in a second. Don't worry. Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out June 11th. This is the one with Paul Rudd, the kid from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, Carrie Coon's in this. So really anything Paul Rudd does, I will watch. So that's all I really have to say. Like I saw Paul Rudd was in it. I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I'll see this.
I mean, looks interesting enough. Just giving it a quick glance at IMDb. But I also, it's just another series that they didn't need to bring back. Like I feel like just looking at the concept of it, looking at these stills and whatnot, in a lot of these cases, I feel like you can just make that movie a standalone, but they're like, we need one of these big titles from this franchise so people actually see it. But it's like, yo, you got Finn, whatever, you got Paul Rudd, if you got a good script, good concept, like that's going to make money in and of itself. Like you don't need to have Ghostbusters, whatever franchise attached to every movie. But yeah, that's just me completely overreacting upon looking at the IMDb for 30 seconds though. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even watch. I haven't even seen the other Ghostbuster movies. So I don't even know what this one falls or what this one's about. But I mean, Paul Rudd's in it, so maybe I'll check it out. Depending, I don't know. I mean, it's maybe if it's on streaming, I'll check it out. But otherwise, probably not.
I'm definitely gonna check it out just because Paul Rudd's in it. Give a shout out to a brother. He's my man. I love Paul Rudd. Definitely listens. Huge fan of the podcast. In the Heights, I'll take this one. I'm assuming I know that really neither of you are big musical guys, so I'll take this one. This is the adaptation of the Broadway musical. Obviously, Anthony Ramos, who was in Hamilton, is in this movie. It was supposed to come out in 2020, which is the case for like half these movies. It's going to drop on HBO Max, thank God. Again, another movie I really want to see, but I don't have to go to the theaters to see it. Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's not quite the hype of Hamilton, but it's a really good movie. I think it's going to be a really good like soundtrack. So I think the movie's going to be pretty good. Dave, I know you and I, our first ever movie review on this podcast, first ever one we did. I think it was, I'm trying to remember the exact number. I think it was episode 34, if I'm not mistaken, was Venom. And finally, we're getting the Venom sequel, Let There Be Carnage, starring Woody Harrelson as Carnage. That's accurate. First Venom was fine. It was not garbage. That it has some good action. Tom Hardy was well cast, I thought. again, like we said earlier, it should have been R-rated. That's just what it comes down to. And they're probably not going to do it for this one. At least I hope they do. Because I feel like if you're going to tell a movie about Venom and Carnage, it has to be R-rated.
Just looking at the IMDb, I don't see a rating, so maybe
I hope it's rated R. I really do.
Yeah, I didn't see the first one. Didn't really hear good things about it. It is kind of interesting to hear Woody Harrelson's going to be in it. I would like to see him and Tom Hardy in this kind of dynamic, so that definitely makes me more interested. But yeah, judging by the first one and the way people felt about that one, I feel like this isn't really a big one to be looking out for.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing here, from what I searched, it sounds like the rumors are that this is going to be R-rated. And there's going to be a trailer within the next couple months or month or two, I should say. I would say probably in February, maybe even during the Super Bowl. I don't know, depending how Sony feels about this movie. But I don't know. I mean, I think Tom Hardy's a pretty good cast, like you said, Jake. But I don't know. It's just I have a hard time getting excited over Venom. I think the first movie was just blah, and I think we mentioned on the podcast then, it sort of seemed destined to kind of live on FX for like 30 years and just keep rerunning, sort of like Fast and the Furious 7, just like continuously be on FX and like have people watch it and put like a million commercial breaks in it. So I don't know. I think this movie is just like, it's just blah for me. Like I'm going to see it, but I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Yep, I'll see it because I'm a sheep, but yeah, that's all I gotta say. Moving into July 2nd, Top Gun Maverick. I have no interest in this movie. You guys have anything to say about it?
Nope.
I mean, it's probably going to be good, but that's all I got.
Fantastic. Moving on, July 9th, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is I believe this will be the 25th Marvel movie in the MCU. It was not supposed to be. Eternals was supposed to be number 25, but it has now leapfrog Eternals, and it's coming out in July. Eternals will come out in November. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this movie, they haven't really talked a lot about the plot for this movie, Dave. But I'm very intrigued. I mean, Shang-Chi seems to be a great character. They talked about the Mandarin being involved here. So I'm excited. I'm very, very stoked for this movie. I know we talked a little bit about it on our MCU News episode, but I'm pretty excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a really good movie. Again, I trust Kevin Feige to make good movies, and it seems like it's well casted. It seems like it'll be a fun script. And I think we talked about this earlier. There's been a year without Marvel anything. So I think that really puts us in a position where we haven't really been, and we're really craving more action. Like I know a lot of people that have watched all the MCU movies in order or in their own order, or done the best of, or watched Avengers, whatever it may be. But I know a lot of people have seen those. So I think there's going to be a high drive for this movie. And I'm really interested to see if it holds the July 9th time slot or placement, because I think it might get pushed back to maybe fall, when I think the things are more secure with the vaccine being out and most people being vaccinated. And I think people will start to head back to the movies at that point.
Yeah. Blumhouse coming up here. The Forever Purge, July 9th. Honestly, I would say I can't believe they keep making these movies, but like Brandon said earlier, they make their money back on all of them and then some. So keep it up, I guess. I'm not going to see it, but somebody will.
Oh, I'm one of those people who will. Like, this is the exact type of thing, the shitty horror movie that is a part of the franchise where the Blumhouse is just going to have their name in front of it, probably paid $5 million, and they're going to make back 50. Like, I respect the dude as a businessman. These movies are terrible too. They're so bad, and that's why I enjoy them, which is weird because it's just them doing absolute zero effort in the bare minimum on all of these. But I just eat it up every time. And just looking at MDB, it says this is going to be the final one. No way that's true.
Okay, sure. I'm sure it will be. They'll see the returns on it and be like, yeah, we'll make another 5. I was also really alluding to Dave, who I know is going to see this movie. But fun fact about the Purge movies, their Rotten Tomato scores have gone up with every movie, which is remarkable, honestly. It's crazy. The first one was the lowest, and the most recent one, whatever that was, the first Purge or whatever it's called, or Purge Civil War, whatever the hell it was called, but was the highest. I have no idea. I don't know anything about these movies.
I mean, I think the only surprising thing about the thought behind this movie is that supposedly it's the last one. Like that's the only thing that's surprising about this. And the other thing which was kind of funny is this movie got delayed like at the last minute. Except it really wasn't delayed at the last minute because it was supposed to be released, I think, in like June and like the end of May, or I think it was. We still hadn't even gotten a trailer, so it's sort of like, and the cast wasn't even announced, so it's kind of like a last minute delay, which was kind of weird because they clearly weren't planning on releasing it. So, but I mean, I'm like Brandon, I'm going to see this movie absolutely.
And you know that they're going to say this is the final one. The way they're going to get away with that is like one of the characters is going to go off and do something else. They're going to follow that character. Like I bet they're going to be like, oh, we're going to start this faction of like these insurgents who are going to like disrupt these crazy people. And it's going to follow that group for the next 7 movies. You'll see. I'm on the Blumhouse.
All right, so Dave, I think you put Uncharted on here, right?
I believe I did. That's the Tom Holland one, right?
Yeah, which I mean, very, very positive and optimistic of you to assume this is going to come out on July 16th because this movie's been delayed and delayed and delayed for like in perpetuity virtually. It's based off a video game I've never played, but I know people are really, really clamoring for it because it's been in talks for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's been delayed a lot, and really we don't really know a lot about it. It's based on a video game, like you said, but it has Tom Holland, and at this point, I really like Tom Holland, and I'd be willing to see almost anything he puts his name to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a ton of interest because I've never played Uncharted myself, but like Jake, I've heard a lot of people who they absolutely adore the game, and they say they're going to take it with Tom Holland being a younger version, which might be cool because they can kind of do their own thing with the story. They don't necessarily have to make it the same exact character as a game. So if he's like different or some things like that, people could say like, oh, he kind of grew into that. So maybe they can do something good with it there. But we all know video game movies are usually not received well. So we'll see if this kind of breaks the mold. But I mean, until further notice, I'm gonna expect this to not be too good.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that. Wouldn't bet on it being too good. I agree. Like you said, video game movies, usually you know where those are gonna land. Space Jam 2, A New Legacy, coming July 16th, HBO Max and theaters. Thank the good Lord this will be on HBO Max because there's no way I couldn't watch it. This movie's not going to be good. I don't think so, at least. But LeBron James is starring in it. He's actually proven to be a kind of capable actor, unlike Michael Jordan, who is not. Yeah, it's I will guarantee you this. It's going to be a movie. That's what I've got for you on this.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what players are in it too, because I think they've been keeping most of them under wraps. I know it's a lot of clutch guys. I'm pretty sure Klay Thompson's in it.
Is AD in it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Anthony Davis is in it. And a lot of the other dudes on clutch. So we'll see. I'm super excited for this. I don't know if it's going to be a good movie. I don't know if LeBron can carry an entire movie. Like we've seen him act before, but seeing him act in a movie where it's just based completely around him, that's going to be completely different. But we're about to find out, and this is definitely another reason or another aspect of having him in LA. Like hopefully we get to see more things like this, whether it's more Space Jam movies or seeing LeBron doing more of these movie roles and branching out to this other stuff.
I can tell you what, I think it's going to look better than Space Jam did. That's for sure.
Hey, but that's just like a nostalgic level of the cartoons and whatnot. Like that, you can completely tell it's a green screen every single time.
You know what? I did talk shit about Michael Jordan just now, but I give him props for acting against a green screen for like 99% of that movie. That being said, there's a lot of shameless stuff in that movie, so there's that too. Dave, how stoked are you for Space Jam 2?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really excited, I'm a 1.
Wow.
I don't feel
a hater
at all. I think the logo they came out with looked really stupid, and I don't really have a lot of faith that this is going to be anywhere near the nostalgic piece that we watched when we were younger, and it's going to make me really disappointed. So I'm already lowering my expectations.
I guarantee you, Mark. What was it?
I think that's also completely fair.
Mark this down. There's going to be a joke about the decision in this movie. Guarantee it. There's going to be a joke about the decision. I'm telling you right now. It's gonna be like, well, LeBron, are you gonna join this Toon Squad? And they're gonna do like this sit down with him, super serious, and people are like, oh, it's funny. Remember that time you did that? There's gonna be a joke about it. I guarantee.
I can definitely see that now. You should honestly just like write out a little 5-minute scene of that. See how accurate you are, because
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that later. I'm gonna write it down and be like, this is what they're gonna do, and then I think it's gonna be to a T what they actually do. Dave, you wrote The Tomorrow War. I have no idea what this is.
So this is a movie where a man is drafted to fight in a war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront the past. I take it as some like a movie like what was that? I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal, and he kept coming back and having to fight on the train or something. Source code, I think it was.
Oh, Jarhead. You're thinking of Jarhead.
No, that was Matt Damon, right?
No, I'm messing with you. I think it was. I think it's Source Code.
Was it Jake Gyllenhaal or was it Matt Damon?
Source Code, I think, is Jake Gyllenhaal, but I'll look it up.
But this is a Chris Pratt movie. He's the main star in it, and
Right.
they're actually talking about it being bought by Amazon. So there's a chance that this is a streaming event, which makes me even more happy to see it.
Yeah, Source Code is the movie you're thinking of, Brandon.
No, Dave was right that Jake Gyllenhaal is in it. Matt Damon was in one though. I think it was it Rebecca Hall or something, and it was like the world paused when they were together or something. You remember that?
I'm looking it up right now.
It was like super exact same plot as Source Code. I remember that being a thing back in the day. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think this looks too interesting based on the little description that Dave had there. But I mean, war movie, very interesting topic. We'll see if it ends up being good. And it's supposed to be a feature one. We'll see how they are with that.
Brandon, are you thinking of The Adjustment Bureau?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's Emily Blunt.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. I looked up Matt Damon time travel movie, and that was one of the first results. For some reason, Deadpool 2 and Field of Dreams also came up. Not sure what. One of those deals with time travel. Field of Dreams does not. Dave, you put old on here. Is this some sort of M. Night Shyamalan thing?
It is, yeah. There's no details on it yet, per his choice, but I'm curious to see what he comes out with. I think most of the movies have sucked, but I'm curious to see how it goes.
I mean, if it's a complete train wreck, at least it'll be interesting on that end. So, yeah, M. Night is a guy who I don't know what happened, man. It's like he tore his ACL after winning the MVP, but Derrick Rose came back a little bit. I mean, M. Night did with like Split, I guess. Like people like that one, but never the same.
I just think overall he gets way too much credit for the movie maker that he is. Because I think his movies for the most part have kind of absolutely blown. But Split was good. Like that was a really good movie. But Unbreakable was just okay to me, and Glass, which is the third of the trilogy, was just not good.
I heard that. I mean, I guess in his defense too, in a context of when like Sixth Sense came out, that sort of thing, and that was like the twist, the plot twist, and it like shook the like, think about it. People were like shooken from the ending of what's it called, Sixth Sense, to this day that we still hear about it. I've never seen that movie. So I mean, maybe he hit at some point, and we just were too young to kind of catch the wave.
But also, I feel like there's that movie kind of like, it was like kind of how The Dark Knight ruined the DCEU. Like that movie kind of ruined his career because like every movie after that there was a huge twist, like, and they all suck for the most part. Like The Sixth Sense had this iconic twist, and then he's like, I need to do this for every movie, and then he did it for every movie, and every movie he made after that largely sucked. And like the only one that was good, I thought, was Signs, and then the twist in Signs is stupid. Like it's incredible. It really is. But yep, I probably won't see this. So that's all I got about that. Jungle Cruise, July 30th. Speaking of movies I will not be seeing. Don't have any.
Dump. Hard pass.
No thanks.
Yeah, I'm so out on this movie. I couldn't care less.
Brandon?
He's out off the computer at the moment.
He is currently AFK. I can't blame him because I'd also be AFK. He's grabbing his charger. Anyway, he picked the right movie to get up for, I gotta say. Moving on. The Suicide Squad, August 6th, HBO Max, and in theaters. Dave, I'm pretty excited for this movie. Not gonna lie. Pretty good cast. I can't wait to see it.
I'm most excited the fact that James Gunn did this. Like the cast, I knew with a superhero movie, you always know it's going to be a good cast, but like you need the movie maker at the top for it to be really good. And I think this is one that's going to be awesome. And I'm so excited that we can see it on HBO Max. Like I'm absolutely pumped to see it because I was worried that we wouldn't be able to see some of these movies unless we went to theaters.
Dave, Don't Breathe 2.
I am so excited for this movie. I don't know how it's going to be because I think the first one kind of tied it up pretty nicely, but the first one was excellent. If you haven't seen it, anyone that's listening, it was really, really well done. I thought it was very suspenseful. It wasn't like scary. It was more thriller, which was awesome. But overall, I'm very excited to see. They already finished filming this, so this will come out at some point. I don't know if it'll be streaming or if it will come out in theaters or what, but this is a movie. I believe the first one was made for like $7 million and they made like $100 million. So this is another one that obviously came with a Blumhouse sort of profit, and I'm very excited for it.
So I knocked my Wi-Fi out for a second. You said Don't Breathe 2?
Yeah.
I loved the first one. So I'm really interested in seeing how this goes. Like, I didn't even think the story necessarily was like the most unique, for example, or I mean, the ending I thought was all right. I didn't even love it, but everything else throughout the movie, and also just the way, the style of it. And I don't want to ruin anything because I mean, it's just a good movie to watch. And it's also got a good plot, like Dave was saying. So I'm very interested to see where this one goes. But again, kind of the way it ended, I don't know if it lended itself for a sequel or if I would necessarily want one. But I'm interested either way because I like the first one so much.
The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. I did not put this on the list. Dave did. I have nothing to say about this. I think it looks like shit. So, Dave?
The Hitman's Bodyguard was Samuel L. and Ryan Reynolds, the first one. This is just the sequel. I thought the first one was much better than I expected, so I'm just curious to see how the second one is. But I like Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. together.
And apparently Salma Hayek is going to be the Hitman's wife's bodyguard.
I mean, it doesn't sound good, but I'm going to see it. I'm not necessarily excited about it, but I think it'll be entertaining.
Candyman, August 27th. Nia DaCosta directing. Yahya Abdul-Mateen's in this. Dave, we have seen the original Candyman. We watched it together. It's one of the most distressing experiences of my life. Movie watching wise, that is.
Was it not
very disturbing movie? What was it?
Was the food the most distressing and uncomfortable, or was it the movie?
No, the food was delicious. Thank God we ate it after we watched Candyman, and not before or during. But a really good movie. Tony Todd, I believe, is coming back for this. I don't think it's not really a reboot. It's kind of a sequel. But I think this is going to be good. I'm excited for this.
Same. This is one I'm actually interested in seeing. One of these sequels / yeah, like you were saying, I don't think it's a reboot. I think it's an actual sequel.
Yeah.
But this is one where I feel like you actually have some room to go with it. Because you have like the character himself that you can use more stories with. And also, I'm pretty sure, there's 2 Candyman movies? 2 or 3?
I think there's like 3, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows if they're going to follow the story of those 2 sequels, because I've heard they weren't good. But I did like the original Candyman a lot. And hopefully this can be something along the lines of like a Halloween reboot, where the recent one I think was actually very good. I'm pretty sure Jordan Peele has some level of involvement in this as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see about too.
Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this. I think we'll get delayed one more time and get pushed into October. But
you're probably right about that.
I just think, like, overall, even if the people are ready, I think this movie belongs in October. Like, it's a horror movie. It fits. It's a remake. It's of a classic. Like, I just think it makes sense to have it in October. I never understood the whole release it in the summer thing.
All right. Jackass 4, September 3rd. This will probably get pushed back a little bit, but I saw that Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville ended up in the hospital like the first week of shooting. So, this is going to be good stuff. There's never been I read this, people have said it before many times. All 3 Jackass movies are very, very good. The third one I think is the best, but I'm very excited for this. We didn't need it. I don't want it, but I'm definitely going to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I feel like it's kind of over. Like, they're all too old now.
Yeah.
Steve O, by the way, his YouTube channel is awesome. You guys should watch
he's awesome. He's great.
Yeah, so I love watching that. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of over. I'm wondering what they're going to be doing because they're probably limited in things they could do now versus back then. And then also, I know Bam Margera has like gone through a lot of things recently. So seeing him in this, it's kind of weird because it's like if he's just in it while still being hampered down by a lot of those things, it might not be. But I mean, hey, he's around his friends, so I guess it's cool at the end of the day. But yeah. We'll see.
That was a big thing. I think it was Jackass 3. Like Steve-O got sober and they had no alcohol on the set to support him. So like I feel like they're a really good crew of friends to be around. They're really tight knit. So
because I know and he's also had like a lot of beef with a lot of them. Like I know Brandon Mack he had a lot of beef with, and so I mean it's good to see them back together, especially because obviously with like Ryan Dunn passing and whatnot, it definitely brings like the life perspective thing into these things, and to put them all together, whether it's for them jumping off of like building into getting like punched in the face by each other. It's cool to see them together again.
Bungee jumping with Jason Taylor. Yeah. Dave, you put Death on the Nile and Man from Toronto on here. I don't know what these movies are. I know Death on the Nile is Agatha Christie, but I don't know what Man from Toronto is.
Yeah, Death on the Nile is the sequel from
Orient Express.
Yeah. And that movie blew, but I know a lot of people are excited for it. I thought it was boring and slow and just like an uppity movie that people like, oh wow, look at how well written this is and all the great performances and stars. And I'm like, I just think overall that movie sucked. The Man from Toronto it has Kevin Hart, Woody Harrelson, Kaylee Cuoco, and is directed by Patrick Hughes. It's a comedy action movie, and I thought the cast sounded interesting, so I figured I'd throw it on there. But honestly, this movie seems more like a 2022 venture at this point, but who knows? Because it is being filmed, I believe, in Ontario, believe it or not, judging from the name. But it's supposedly that two hitmen get crossed up, the identities get crossed up, and that leads to like random things happening. And I thought it sounded interesting, but it's probably going to suck. But it's also probably going to be next year.
Cool. That's probably accurate. Yep. No interest in either one of those. Brandon, anything on those?
The second one Dave mentioned, the Toronto one, I can see that being a little interesting. Just because playing a twist on, I guess, the conventional story there. But yeah, like you guys were saying, I'm not going to have my hopes too high for it. We'll see.
I'm like the only person on the planet who doesn't give a shit about Dune. So I don't know if you guys have something to add about that. I didn't really have any interest in this movie. I think the cast looks great. Denis Villeneuve is great as a director, but I just have no interest in this movie.
This kind of looks like the vibe of the recent Mad Max reboot, old remake, whatever you want to call it, which was pretty good. So I don't have any interest in Dune either, but just by getting this sort of vibe from it, seeing the cast, like you were saying, Zendaya's in it as well. Timothée Chalamet, which everyone loves. I don't think I've seen him in anything yet, but people say he's a really good actor. So yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in this.
I've pretty low interest in this. I don't think I'm going to see it. It's on HBO Max though, so I can always change my mind. But I don't know. It just doesn't interest me that much.
We might as well not even bother talking about Morbius because there's no way it's coming out this year. It's got pushed to October today. It was supposed to come out in March. So even if they push it back half as long as they did this time, it's not coming out till January 2022. Yeah, so let's just plow right past that one. It'll be a movie. It'll probably be all right. The trailer looked pretty good when it came out. So yeah, Jared Leto, check him out. Halloween Kills, October 15th. The movie that notoriously has the worst teaser trailer of all time. Like you guys mentioned earlier, good Halloween reboot. Really liked it. I don't know what I feel about the sequel, though. I will see it, but I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Very excited for that.
My bad. I just had like crazy lag right there.
No.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic because, like I said, I really did like the first one or the first new one, and I know it wasn't a perfect movie, but it definitely hit all of the things that I'm looking for in a horror movie. Like it had really cool deaths. They did a good enough spin to the Michael Myers story. The practical kills and whatnot looked really cool. So I'm excited for it on that end. And also, they kind of gave a vibe like the daughter was going to be on some Michael Myers shit in the next one. So that would be interesting. But from just looking at this IMDb page, doesn't necessarily seem like it. But I'm interested either way. I want to see what they come up with. And I'm pretty sure is Danny McBride in the same group? Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They're involved with it again. So I thought they did a good enough job with the first one. They handled it with enough like care and respect for the series. So I'm interested to see what they do.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I think it'll be really good. I trust Danny McBride with the script. It got the blessing of John Carpenter, I believe, for this sequel and all the scripts that they've written for it. I just don't know how they can go from where they were, the way they ended it. And I thought the teaser was an absolute embarrassment that they published that. I thought that was a piece of shit. But overall, I think like I'm excited to see this movie, and hopefully it lives up to what the last one was, which really blew past my expectations.
Dave, you put The Last Duel on here. I'm not sure what this is.
So this is a movie by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. They produced it. Ridley Scott directed it. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck also wrote the screenplay. And I honestly don't even know that much about it, but I know that they're both in it. And it's the first time, I believe, since Good Will Hunting that they're both in it and had something to do with the script. So I thought it'd be interesting to see. It's a drama thriller. I'm just very interested to see what becomes of it, really.
Yeah, like, this looks really weird. Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ben Affleck. It's just a duel between a king and some other dude. Ridley Scott, I haven't really been like a super huge fan of. I do like some of his movies, but it's not like I've ever seeked anything out from him. Probably won't do the same here. It looks interesting though.
The Elvis biopic, just called Elvis. It's got Austin Butler and Tom Hanks starring in it. Comes out November 5th, HBO Max and in theaters. There hasn't been a lot of buzz about this movie. I'm sure we'll get a trailer at some point in the summer, probably. I think Austin Butler being cast is pretty decent casting. Tom Hanks plays his manager, so I think just those two together, it'll probably be a decent biopic. Probably not too edgy, I don't think, but it'll probably be good.
Yeah. I don't really have much of an opinion.
Yeah, I don't have really an opinion on it either. I mean, I think it'll be all right.
Dave, we discussed the Eternals in our MCU news episode, so go check that out if you haven't heard it yet. But we're both fairly excited for it. It's got a pretty good cast.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good. Kumail Nanjiani's finally in the MCU, which we never thought we'd say, so that's pretty cool.
They're running out of people not in the MCU.
It's true.
That's how hard it was for us to fan cast the Fantastic Four. They're running out of people. King Richard, Dave?
So this is a movie about Venus and Serena Williams and their father, King Richard. I believe Will Smith is playing their father.
Wow.
So I just thought it'd be really interesting to see. I think they are two interesting people. Serena's certainly one of the greatest athletes ever to grace the earth. So I think it's really interesting to see kind of that, how they portray that. And Will Smith being in it, I think adds another layer.
Oh yeah, I'm totally interested in this. I'll see any Will Smith movie. And this definitely seems like it has a very cool story to it. Just because, like you were saying, Dave, Serena is such an accomplished athlete. I mean, Venus is too, but obviously Serena is like one of the best ever. And it's going to be really cool just to see that aspect of things, and also to see Will Smith in another movie like this. It's definitely a classic Will Smith timing, though. He always puts a movie out toward the end of the year. If this one comes out in November, like it says on IMDb, that'll be like right in his alley. So we'll see if it's like a Pursuit of Happiness sort of type movie. I know he usually does stuff like that. He doesn't like really doing like rated R crazy stuff anymore.
Yeah, this will be cool. I'm interested to see what comes of it and if it does end up coming out this year. Mission Impossible 7, which will not be called Mission Impossible 7, but that's supposed to come out November 19th. I did not see Fallout, but I've heard it's one of the best action movies of the past 10 years. So Dave, I know you, and I'm sure you, Brandon, you guys are probably more in tune on this than I am. But Dave, especially, I know you loved Fallout.
I loved Fallout. I thought it was one of the best action movies I had ever seen. lot of really good choreographed fights and really fun stunts. Tom Cruise always does some crazy stuff, and he does it himself usually, which is insane. I think overall these movies, I believe they're shot 7 and 8 back to back, so there should be one in back to back years. Whenever 7 comes out, the next one will come out the year after. I think these movies are just really fun to watch. They're awesome, crazy stunts. They really keep it really interesting with some of the stuff they do and the characters. I don't think it's going to win any awards. Again, like most of these movies, King Richard probably is actually going to be an award conversation, I would say, especially at the end of the year. But this one I think is really exciting to watch. They're really fun movies, and I believe Fallout is on Hulu. I believe still.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'll definitely have to check that out. I've never seen any of them.
Okay.
I've heard good things about all of them. Sorry, I was just reading about Fallout because it actually looks pretty cool. I might have to watch this now.
Great reviews.
I've obviously heard all the good things about Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise and his stunts, the cast, and all the side actors that they have in it too. It looks like a good one. Like I said, I've never seen any of them though.
Don't mess around with COVID protocols around Tom Cruise. Don't you dare. Rounding out, we got West Side Story that comes out December 10th. That's the Spielberg West Side Story. Ansel Elgort's in that. I'll probably check it out because I like musicals. So we'll even see if it comes out in December. Spider-Man 3, Dave, I'll be astonished if this movie comes out this year.
Yeah, I will too. Very excited for the movie, but it's just not out this year. But I think we both agree it's one of our most look forward to movies of the next couple of years even.
And I'll rope this in with The Matrix 4, which is supposed to come out December 22nd. Again, I have no faith it's coming out this year.
Yeah, no way. No way.
I don't think so. Brandon, anything to add on those last 2 movies?
No, not really. I think y'all summed it up pretty well.
Brandon, how do you feel about Willem Dafoe coming back to Spider-Man?
He is?
Yeah.
All right, that honestly makes me interested in it because I was just gonna say, I was like, we already had a Spider-Man 3 before, and we saw how that went. So
yeah, it won't be called Spider-Man 3. It'll be called Spider-Man with the word home in it somewhere. But they would never, after the last Spider-Man 3, they're not going to call another movie Spider-Man 3.
It's gonna be Spider-Man Back Home.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, that definitely is a game changer. What's he gonna do in it? Is he gonna be?
He's probably gonna be himself, the character he was in Spider-Man. But there's gonna be like a multiverse tie-in where we think all 3 Spider-Man are gonna be in the movie.
Oh shit!
You know, what'd be cool is if they called it instead of Spider-Man 3 Spider-Man. That'd be funny. If they did that.
Spider-Man with the 3 instead of an A. That's just
like the Jeter respect thing. All right, so let's touch on some TV shows. We usually do separate episodes, but one of the reasons we didn't because there aren't a lot of TV shows to talk about. Dave, we might as well just throw all the Disney Plus ones together. You have WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye. What If I think is also on this list, but I forgot to put it. And then Star Wars: The Bad Batch. We didn't really talk about that. I'm sure that'll be good. But if you guys want to hear more about our Marvel TV show predictions, you can listen to the MCU news episode. We did a few episodes back. But anything new to add on those, Dave? Because WandaVision's first episode drops, I think, 2 days after this episode does.
Very, very interested to see. I know Kevin Feige had mentioned that it was, I believe, 40 to 50 minutes for WandaVision in 8 episodes. And I believe the first 2 are dropping on Friday. And then it's one every week after that. I think it'll be good. I'm happily optimistic. I think it's good to finally get some content flowing.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to non-Marvel Star Wars stuff, we have The Great North, which drops on Valentine's Day on Fox. This is an animated, like Bob's Burgers-esque animation show with Nick Offerman and Jenny Slate. I think it looks pretty good from the previews. I don't really watch much new TV, like episode-wise, but it looks all right.
Yeah, I mean, it looks solid. The only downside, I guess, I'm looking at it on IMDb. The animation is the exact same as Bob's Burgers. So, I mean, I guess it's cool because it's kind of tied into the same universe. But on the other hand, I feel like that's kind of unique to Bob's Burgers, and it's kind of its vibe. So we'll see. We'll see. It looks interesting.
Yeah, it's why I think American Dad is such a cheap knockoff of Family Guy. It's because it's like the same animation style.
Yeah, that's honestly like a big part of it.
Yeah,
It
no, I agree.
Character so much like of an aesthetic to the show, obviously.
Yeah, Dave, anything to add on that?
I mean, it looks pretty good. Fox seems to do pretty well with the animation, so I think definitely worth a shot. Nick Offerman, I love. I think he's one of the best TV actors, especially on, and just great movies too. But a lot of the great TV performance, especially Ron Swanson, one of my favorites.
Impeachment, American Crime Story. This is on FX. This was also announced before another president got impeached potentially twice. This is the Bill Clinton impeachment story. Beanie Feldstein is in this. I believe she's playing Monica Lewinsky. She's of Booksmart fame. She was very good in that movie. I'm looking forward to this. I did not see the OJ American Crime Story. I've heard it's outstanding. But I'm excited for this one. I think this will be pretty good.
The OJ one, I watched the first half of, and I loved it. And I don't know why I didn't finish watching it. You just reminded me that, honestly. So maybe I'll have to finish that at some point. But yeah, I'm interested in this. On one hand, hopefully, we get to see a different side of the story because, like, honestly, if you look on things, like Monica Lewinsky, like I honestly do feel bad for her. Like her life really ruined.
Awful. It's awful.
Bill Clinton had zero consequences, and her life got like completely destroyed. I mean, she's got like her Twitter followers and whatnot now, and she's got like the name notoriety, so I'm sure she's doing just fine. But that's probably like really traumatic to go through.
Oh, it's awful. I hope they show that side of the story. That's what they should focus on because it's really like it is a tragedy what happened like to her life and and there's a great interview she did with John Oliver about a year or so back. I recommend anybody go watch it. It's very, very good. And she really explores kind of how like her life got ruined because of it, and she didn't deserve that. So, yeah, I'm interested in it. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting. They've done a good job with these kind of stories and anthology type shows. FX especially has a lot of anthology type shows. Fargo, American Horror Story, and American Crime Story obviously has become a big one. So, very interested.
The Lord of the Rings series on Amazon Prime. I don't know if this is coming out this year. It was on the list I was looking at, but yeah, this has got a lot of hype.
Yeah, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy, and I don't see myself watching this. So
no, Dave, you're not a big Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be something hard to dive into when I've seen like bits and parts of the movies. Just again because they're the type of movies that you see on like an all day marathon on like FX or TBS or something like that. So yeah, don't see myself hopping in here. Hopefully it's good for the Lord of the Rings fans though. I mean, I know there's obviously a lot of them.
I'm telling you, my dad works out at home a lot. Like when I was living with my parents, whenever I would walk past him working out, he was watching one of two things: golf or a Lord of the Rings movie. Like those, it was guaranteed one of those two things were on the TV. And I'd be like, which one is this? He's like, oh, Two Towers. I'm like, oh, cool. All right, well, see you in 3 hours. Succession season 3. This show has gotten the Game of Thrones treatment from me. Like, I was like, oh, this sounds cool. I might check it out. Then everybody started hyping it so much that I could not care less about it. So I don't really care about this.
That's not the reason that I'm not necessarily into it, but same as you, I've heard people hyping it up so much, and every time people have described it, they're basically like, "Oh, it's a bunch of like filthy rich people like fighting." And I'm like, "It doesn't really."
Cool.
Yeah, like, down up my alley. But I mean, I've obviously heard all the things about it, seen all the awards it's won, and all that stuff. So, hey, maybe at some point. It's only the 3rd season, so I mean, it could be a good time to hop in.
Dave, you watch Succession?
I think I remember starting it, but I never got into it. I'm going to try to get back to it because I know everyone loves it, but I don't know much about it, so I'm going to have to catch up on it.
Tuca and Birdie season 2. I did not watch this show, but I heard everybody who loved it that they watched it on Netflix. This first season, now it's on Adult Swim after it got canceled. I just wanted to shout it out. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this show.
I looked it up, and the animation looks pretty cool, but yeah,
it's like BoJack Horseman-esque animation. But that's all I gotta say about Tuca and Birdie. Dave, have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it, no.
Untitled Conan O'Brien show coming to HBO Max. Dave and I were talking a little bit about this off air. I'm actually really excited for this show because I like Conan O'Brien, and the fact he'll be on HBO Max where he can like swear and get a little bit more latitude. I think this will be pretty good. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch like late night TV at all or anything like that. But Conan's always been a dude that I respected, and when I do see stuff from him, I do think that it's pretty funny. I think most of those dudes otherwise are pretty like lame, honestly. Like I don't even hate them, but like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, like those I would never watch. I wouldn't really watch Conan's Tonight Show either, but like this HBO one is something that I'd kind of be interested in. And like you were saying, seeing him with Without the Reins, sort of having more freedom, that might be what actually makes me interested in seeing this, because my whole problem with a lot of these late night shows is that they're like so stale and all of them are making the same exact joke, saying the same exact thing. They're just like so corny and played out. It's such a dead form of the show or programming, in my opinion. So it's going to be cool to do something different.
Like the big late night things I like are like Seth Meyers. That's his Closer Look. I really like that because he's a really smart, incisive, I think, political mind. So he's fun to watch. But my favorite is Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. I mean, it's just it's first of all, it's weekly, so it's something to look forward to. And his team of writers and staff and he himself, it's such a great show. So like those are my two big ones. Colbert here and there, but I don't really want Jimmy Fallon.
I heard Colbert is just terrible.
It's not good. It's not good. I mean, I do like some of his stuff, but it's just not the same as it was on Comedy Central. But Seth Meyers is really good. I like him a lot. And the only other times I watch those shows is if there's interviews that with people I like. So, Dave, I know we were talking about this off air. You're excited for this as well.
Yeah, I like Conan, and I think with the extra freedom, I think it'll be really interesting because he's a really smart guy, and I'm just really curious to see what the show is and how he does with it. He's got obviously a great mind for it.
So I had to put this one on the list. I just had to. Young Rock, which apparently is a Young Sheldon version of The Rock's life now. I don't know who asked for this. Like, I understand. Like, The Big Bang Theory was such a highly rated show for some reason. People loved it for some reason. And I get why they tried to do a spinoff with Young Sheldon. And apparently it's successful because it's been on for like 3 seasons. This is just a person. Like, The Rock is famous, but like, who wants this? Like, no offense to The Rock, he could squeeze the life out of me with like 2 fingers, but who wants this?
I mean, I also have zero desire to watch this, but watch it become the most watched show in the country like immediately. Like those shows just somehow they hit a perfect niche of, I mean, I'm saying niche and it's got like 20 million viewers every week. But yeah, that's gonna happen. I can see it already, and I will never watch a single episode, just like I never watch Big Bang Theory or Young Sheldon or any of these other shows. And I'm sure it'll last 15 years and be the most successful show on TV.
Dude, it's crazy to me that like every time I watch football on CBS, it's like the most watched new comedy, Young Sheldon. I'm like, who is watching this? Who? Who? Like, do they like? I don't get it. Like, I have not watched first of all, for watching one live, forget about it. The only CBS comedies I've ever liked are Everybody Loves Raymond and King of Queens. Like, those are the only ones I've ever liked. Everything else, throw in the trash. Like, I've never liked it. Big Bang Theory. Dave, is How I Met Your Mother also CBS?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. No offense to friend of the program, Alex Barth, but I'm all set with How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, so Dave, and this is an NBC show, which is even weirder that it's a like Young Sheldon version of a show that's not even on.
That's even more annoying. I thought if this was CBS, it'd be like, all right, we're just sticking to our formula. This is our thing. Like FX has the anthologies. Yeah. We have the young, random ass, weird shows. Like the fact that NBC is trying to ride the wave, that annoys me.
Not to mention, they're not even trying with a different title. They're just like, we're stealing it. Like, try and stop us. All right, next up is The Umbrella Academy Season 3. This was more wishful thinking on my part. I don't think this is coming out this year. I would be shocked if it did. Probably later in the year if it did. The second season came out last year. I loved it. I think it was better than the first season, which was not warmly accepted by people. It was fine. The second season was really good. The third season, I have high hopes for it. The second season ended on a pretty good cliffhanger. I'm just going to assume neither of you watched this show, so I'm just going to plow right through. Better Call Saul season 5, the last season of the show. I know Dave is a big fan. Brandon, do you watch the show?
It's the second show on my list of shows to get to perpetually. My first one's actually also on this list coming up.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
So Dave, I'll throw this one to you, Dave. I know a lot of people are clamoring for this. I feel like they know when to end shows over at AMC, except for The Walking Dead, apparently. But they know when to end shows, Breaking Bad especially, and it seems like Better Call Saul is getting the same treatment.
Sorry, before Dave goes, I can actually tell you why AMC shows like Walking Dead continue, but shows like Mad Men and shows like Breaking Bad and whatnot don't. Is because AMC actually owns Walking Dead full outright. So they just keep pushing it out. But I'm pretty sure Sony also owns Mad Men. I think like Lionsgate or something also owns Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So they're not allowed to just like completely kill them and put 15 seasons out.
That makes sense. But I'm sorry, Dave, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, I know this is the last season of Better Call Saul. They announced it already. Last season ended really, really good. It was one of the best seasons they've done, and the last few episodes were like incredibly tense and they ratcheted up the pressure. So I'm really, really interested to see what they make of this last season, because I know they've just had a lot of really good performances. Like Rhea Seehorn and Bob Odenkirk have been awesome through it, and I'm very excited for it.
Would you say it's better than Breaking Bad? I've heard some people say that.
It's very different. Like Breaking Bad, I think had much more of a thrilling aspect to it, and I think this is very heavy on the drama, like very emphasized. And I think this is definitely one that plays more towards like the awards and more towards like people that like the finer points in film. I think Breaking Bad was much more appealing to people that don't really like, not necessarily like the critics and like the uppity people. I think this is much more of that type of drama, but it's very good. If you like Breaking Bad, you like the characters, you'll like the show.
So from one show that is the sequel to the prequel to Breaking Bad to a show compared to Breaking Bad, and that is Ozark, which is supposed to have its final season this year. I've never seen it. My dad really likes this show. Dave, I know you really like this show. So what expectations do you have about the final season?
I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. I think the show is really, really good. And I think the last season was amazing, especially the way it ended. I'm extremely excited for this last season.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I think I said this last time the Ozark season was coming out, but I watched the first episode and a half, and then like the parents strictly told them not to go out, and the girl like goes out of her way to like talk to those kids or whatever and like leave with them. And I don't know, that just is like annoying me, and I stopped watching from that point.
Oh man, that's not even close to the best part.
Next up is Dave. Is it Barry season 3 that's coming out?
Yeah, they haven't even started filming that though. So
who knows when this will come out? But if it does, that's great. I have been meaning to watch Barry. It's definitely a show I could get through in a couple of days if I tried. But I've heard nothing but good things from you and everybody else that watches it.
It's he actually wrote 3 and 4 already, so they'll be able to kind of bang out, I think, 2 seasons. I'm not sure if they're going to try to ramp them up and when they get filming, like film back to back or not, but I know they haven't filmed 3, which means they're at least 10 months away from probably getting an episode on TV. So this looks like a 2022 venture, but it's just such a good show. It's really good. Bill Hader's just done an amazing job with it.
And it's just him being, what is it? He's an actor. He's a murderer who becomes an actor or something.
He's a hitman that becomes an actor. Yeah.
Wow.
Think about that too.
It's just such a weird concept, but it's just really, really awesome. It's just such a fun show.
Dave, I'll toss this next one to you. The Dexter Revival. God knows if it's even coming this year, but the Dexter Revival.
Fun fact: they're shooting in Massachusetts. Yeah, they announced it. This is going to be really interesting. They brought the showrunner that was there for the first 4 seasons, which are the seasons that were critically acclaimed. The last 4 were really struggling to really find any sort of groove. Didn't really make much sense, but the first 4 seasons were among the better seasons of TV, I think, especially season 4 with John Lithgow. I think overall this is going to be a really, really strong 10 episodes because they've waited this long. I don't think they would just do anything. I think they're waiting for a specific thing, especially Michael C. Hall. That's kind of his like crown jewel of his acting career. And I think this is going to be something that's really exciting. And I think the cast, Clancy Brown, I believe, was cast as the villain for whatever he's doing. So I think there's a lot of things to be positive about for this.
Yeah, I can't say much. Dexter was always a show that I avoided because people said the ending was so bad. Like I heard everything up until the ending was great.
It was one of the worst endings I've ever seen in my life.
And then that's like always been I'm like all that to be disappointed. And I already felt what that was like now after experiencing the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. So I know what that feels like now. So I don't need to feel it again.
Ted Lasso season 2. I've heard great things about season 1. Dave, you've seen season 1, right?
I've seen season 1. It's just a really lighthearted, fun, warm show. Like it's not, again, keep hearing me say this, you're not going to win many awards with this thing. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe Apple pushes it into awards conversation with the Lightyear on shows and movies, but it's really, really just a fun show to watch. And it's just really enjoyable. There's not really a lot of words to describe it. It's just very enjoyable and light.
This is honestly like the number 1 show I want to watch right now.
Yeah.
This is the one I've been considering doing the 7-day free trial for. Because I just heard so many good things about. Like Dave was saying, it's like just like a light, warm show. And also, I saw the practice scene where Jason Sudeikis does the entire Allen Iverson practice like speech, doing it seriously in the context of this show. And that was the one scene I saw. And just seeing how well it played off, I was like, all right, this is the sort of thing that I feel like I could be into. And I'm not even a huge Jason Sudeikis fan, but I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. And so, Brandon, what you should do is wait till Cherry comes out. Just do a 7-day trial. Watch Cherry and watch Ted Lasso.
See, yeah, exactly. I need just a good sweet spot to time it out. So I can knock them all out at once. Figure that out. We'll have to add another streaming service to my bill. Good idea.
I know, right? It's just wild. But yeah, I do want to check out Ted Lasso. So hopefully season 2 comes out soon. I'll try to check out season 1. And the last one on here, Dave, is Big Mouth season 4, potentially late 2021. They just dropped season 3 this past month or so. I loved it. I love Big Mouth. I think it's one of the funniest shows out there right now. So with any hope, we'll get it. But they're renewed through, I think it's season 5. So we're definitely going to get it.
Yeah, I think they're renewed through 6, I believe. So and they have a spinoff coming.
Right.
So we're definitely going to get more Big Mouth, and I think everyone's excited about that. Season 4, I thought was really good again, and I thought Nick Kroll brought in Seth Rogen and some of his buddies, which was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think we probably will get at least a trailer by September. And I think we're looking at maybe October, November, December, where we get maybe the episodes. But if not, I think we'd get it at the latest February.
I'm sorry. Wait, did season 4 just drop or season 3?
Season 4. So maybe this is 5 coming up.
5. I was gonna say I thought they've had 4 seasons so far. Yeah, you're right. They're renewed through 6. This season 5 is the one that's supposed to come out hopefully later this year. But
the one thing about this show is they do move pretty fast with production. Nick Kroll, usually by the time the previous one comes out, they've already worked on the new one.
Yeah, but yeah. So those are our preview for 2021 movies and TV shows. Heavy on the movies because TV, there's not a whole lot to talk about yet, I guess. But Brandon, thank you for joining us for our breakdown analysis here. Where can the people find you?
Thank you for having me. BMax15, as always.
Of course, check him out. Brand Don't Breathe on Maxwell. Go check him out. Dave, where can the people find you?
You can find me at David_Albiani.
Perfect. I'm at Jacob_Morocco. This podcast is a CSL Podcast on Twitter. We're at cslpodcast.com. Our upcoming episodes later this week, we are going to do our part 1 of the Ultimate MCU rankings. That's episode 199. We're doing MCU trivia later in the week, in addition to our usual trivia tomorrow or later today, depending on when you listen to this, if it's Wednesday. Episode 200 is next week. We're going to do our part 2 of the Ultimate MCU rankings. And then episode 201 is going to be a comedy grab bag with the great Patrick Monahan of What a Time to Be Alive podcast. So definitely check that out. That's later next week. Until then, we will see you guys. Keep watching trivia. Go 5-star us on iTunes. Rate, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, all those fun places. So go check us out there. Go listen to the back catalog, and we'll see you later in the week. There we go. Let me end the broadcast here.